Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. A little bit of a different setup today because we're not talking about religion, the Quran of the Muslims. That can wait till tomorrow. What I want to talk to you today is about debts and loans, and the reason is because a lot of people have problems with their loans, and they have a problem where they don't understand why they're still paying it off after like X amount of years, even though they've been paying it off, and it just doesn't seem to be getting any smaller. So what I want you to think about is when you get a loan, how that works is you get the main loan. Let's say you borrow £1,000, that's your £1,000, and the bank give you this, so you have that in your hand, £1,000 for you to spend cash. But in addition to that, also what you have to borrow is the cost of the loan, which is this one. So let's say you borrow £1,000 and the bank charge you £300. So even though you get £1,000 in your hand to spend, you've actually borrowed 1,300 quid. So that's how much you have to pay back, 1,300 quid. And in addition to that, every month when you pay, every month that passes while you're paying it, there's a little bit of interest for that as well, in addition to this. So the minimum that you're going to pay is £1,300 plus however much interest accrues over the time it takes you to pay. So the reason they do that, because they're quite sneaky at the bank, they know if you need £1,000 and they give you £1,000, A, they don't make any money out of it, and B, you could just run away with the money and say, fuck you evil Jews, and not pay them back. So they don't want that. They will have no business. They will have no money if they do that. But they don't mind lending you money and taking that risk as long as they make some profit out of it. That's their interest. So how that works is you take the £1,000 they lend you, and their interest is 300 plus what it costs you to pay back. And the reason that's called interest is because they have no interest in what you buy with the money. Their interest is in the profit, this one, that they are going to get from you when you pay it back to them. That's why they call it interest. They're only interested in this bit, their bit, the profit they make. So what generally happens is they pay you £1,000 cash, they keep £300 to themselves on that day, and then you have a month before you start to pay them back. And you get a bill and it says on it minimum payment £20 or something like that. So what they're hoping you do, what I'm hoping you fucking don't do, but what they are hoping you do is you look at your bill statement for the loan and you see where it says minimum payment £20. And what they want you to do is go, oh fine, I only have to pay £20, and pay them £20 then. But what happens when you do that, this is what a lot of people get wrong. When you pay the £20 minimum payment, this £1,000 that you're trying to pay back, that isn't what you're paying the £20 to. The £20 is going towards this £300 you owe them. So remember, it's £1,300 you've borrowed, not £1,000. So £1,300 is what you owe them. When you pay £20, this goes down to 280 because it's 300 minus 20. So you still owe them £1,000, you still owe them 300, now it's 280. So you owe them £1,280. And then what happens is in the month before you pay your next bill, they're going to add compound interest. What that means is they add up this plus this, £1,280. The interest on that amount for a month is added back on top of this. And you have to pay that. And how that works, and this is the bit that's really important that you understand. When you pay the minimum amount of £20, this goes down by £20, but then next month, before the next month's bill, when they add the compound interest on this is going to be more than £20. Do you understand that? Even though you paid £20 towards your debt, they're going to add on more than £20 before your next bill. So what happens is, even though you paid £20 to pay off your debt went up by more. Even though you paid £20, it didn't drop by £20, it went up. It probably went up by £20. And the reason that's happening is because this has to be paid off first. You don't even start paying off your loan at all. Not a single penny of what you pay goes here until this one is paid off. So what does that mean? It means when you pay your bill, totally ignore the fact that it says minimum payment. Because what that means, that minimum payment is the minimum amount of money that they will accept from you in order that they won't hassle you to pay this, which is your actual loan. So they would love it if you only pay the minimum £20. And the reason they love it is because next month, with the addition of your compound interest, your 1,280 is now 2,020. So it's more than your 1,020. So it's more than your original loan. So altogether, it's gone up, and that means the next month, the minimum payment is also going to be higher. So the first month, the minimum payment's going to be 20. If you only pay 20, the next month, the minimum payment's going to be 25. Then you pay that. Then the next minimum payment's going to be 30. Then you pay that. Then the next month's going to be 40. Then you pay that. So by the time you've spent 5 months paying the minimum payment off of your £1,300 debt, you've paid £100 and your debt has gone up by double that. You now owe £1,500. You see what I'm saying here? So if you only ever pay the minimum payment back to the bank, this might be getting smaller, but this overall is getting bigger. So that's what they want, because if that is what happens, not only will you never be paying off your debt because it's getting bigger, every time you give them money, they're pocketing that. It isn't making this smaller, and your minimum payments are going up. So there's going to be a point you reach in like 12 months or something where the minimum payment you can give them, the stock absolute bare minimum they will accept before they let you pay this off, like they're just going to take that money, the bare minimum they accept is going to be more money than you can afford to reasonably pay in a month. Like the minimum will be £250, £300 or something like that. And at that point, you are screwed, my friend, because not only do you still have to pay this, which is now a lot higher, this, which is now a lot higher, you have to give them at minimum more money than you've got, and when you fail to do that because you can't, bang, they stick a charge on there, 150 quid charge or a 50 quid charge or something. So this goes up more, and you get 50 quid of a charge for not being able to pay it. So 2 or 3 months of that, and your debt is going to double, triple. You're going to be in huge amounts of debt. You will have no chance of paying this off or this, and at that point you will have to take a second loan from an even higher interest rate bank to pay this off and consolidate it into something you can afford. And how that's going to work is you have to borrow even more money over an even longer period of time with even more stingy payments that are what you can afford but are definitely not going to be £20. And the net result is this bank get to keep that, plus all the money you spent, plus the charges, which is going to be double, triple what you borrowed. In addition to that, your credit rating's sunk. You could never borrow money off them again. In addition to that, you had to take another loan to cover this, plus the cost of the new loan, and you don't get a penny out of it. So you've done all this for £1,000 cash, which you spent like that. You probably bought, I don't know, beer, a car, a holiday. And your credit rating is fucked forever. And this is going to take you years and years and years, decades to pay off if you get into a bad debt situation like that. So, ladies, gents and Pikachus, in conclusion, in summary, what I'm telling you, I hope you listen to and understand, think very carefully when you take out a loan. Is it worth taking out a loan for the thing that you're buying? Probably not. Probably what you should be doing is going without that thing and saving up your cash in a jar or in your bank account, and then buying it in cash when you know for a fact you can afford it because you have the cash there and your bills are all paid. And if you can't afford it, just accept, be responsible and accept this is out of my price range. I cannot afford this, to get something cheaper or something different. The only thing that you can reasonably do this with and not lose out is a house. If your loan isn't a loan, if it's a mortgage you can kind of swindle and you can scheme with, because the profit that the bank are making in a loan, in a mortgage, is actually value in your house. So yes, it's going to cost you more money and your mortgage is going to be more expensive and it's going to take you longer to pay off, but you own your house, so all that extra money is going into the value of your house. Even in the short term you don't get it. When you sell your house, you get the money back, and it's going to be more than what you paid. So you will make a profit there. The interest then goes to you because it's in the house value. But back to the loans, the interest you pay on loans doesn't go to you at all. It goes straight into the bank manager's pocket so he can buy fancy suits, nice cars, plush hotels for his hookers, cocaine, whatever it is bank managers buy. And you are paying for that while also having this debt that isn't paid, which you still will need to pay off at some point. So in conclusion, don't take loans unless you absolutely have to. I mean it. Do not touch loans unless you literally can't avoid it in any other way. If you have to take a loan, know that you are not going to be paying the minimum payment. You're going to be paying double or triple that, at least, in order that you don't have your debts go up and end up paying more interest, in order that your debts actually drop. So for instance, with this one, the loan of £1,000 plus the 300 interest, when the minimum payment is £20, you know they're going to take that £20. That isn't going to pay off your debt. So if you want to pay off your debt, you have to go £20 for them plus £20 for the debt. So it's £40 minimum. It's double what the minimum payment is. And only then will you be able to bring that debt down and down and down, hopefully to zero, and then say off you go to the bank and be back in your own life with your own control of your own money and not in loads of debt. So that's the end of this video. I hope I made my point. You enjoyed that and you learned something. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Now that that's over with, allow me to borrow your attention for the Quran of the Muslims as we attack the second surah in Without Lies Islam Dies tomorrow at 7:15 AM. In the meantime, be well, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.